contains profound elements of life, and especially life in India. I'm shooting this video as an answer to your concern about why am I not moving to America or Canada. Probably out of an expression about India's lack of genuine innovation, or India's lack of nurturing genuine innovators, human beings with radically good ideas. And it turns out America has proven that it's a land of the new age innovation. India was glorious and it's all in the past. It's now no more that place where potential greatness is nurtured unless it has got entertainment values. And this is a feeling that a lot of talented people from India who left India for America for their education and career have echoed, and rightly so. It's true. It's unfortunate that we have always had governments that have nurtured facade, not truth or reality, not education, but probably religion. That's the kind of politics that happens. It's all regressive, very regressive. And the Indian public, I want to point this dialogue towards Indian public, because the choice is in the hands of Indian public. So no politician, politics or government can be blamed. The choice is made by the Indian public. And the kind of public we have in India, and maybe largely so globally today, but I'm talking about India not from a point of view of nationalism. In my reasons for staying in India, in spite of the many ills in India for survival of a human being like me, is not coming from a place of nationalism. It's coming from a place of neighborism, if there is a word like that. I mean, I feel I'm responsible for my neighborhood first. What can I do to make my immediate surrounding better? Is how I think about my duty in life. And clearly at 35, I haven't married or have not spent my career or time in getting myself a home or any asset apart from my products, that are potential, that may hold potential values in the future. Goes to suggest that I'm not really living a life for my own comfort before solving a real problem for society. And for me, society starts from my neighborhood. And so as a guy building a tech product, I'm really looking at my neighbor at that potential scale of what a tech product can do. What kind of scale can it cover? And for me, the first neighborhood that I see is my country. It's me right here at the center of my thought, and what can I do for my immediate surrounding. And then I am thinking about my country. And I'm thinking about my country because I happen to be trying to build things from a place as unlikely as Uttar Pradesh. It's probably among the worst states for innovation in our country. It's probably the worst state as far as justice is concerned. It's the number one, likely the most corrupt state in India. I have very closely seen the kind of injustice that happens in Uttar Pradesh. And the only way to really change India is to attack the root of its ill from where one is. For example, what Yogi Ji's government has done, I voted for him, but I'm not really happy with what he's doing because I have closely seen that the hat of evil from goons has been taken away from the goons. That hat is no more on the heads of goons, but it's now on the heads of police. Now police is the new goons, and goons is not a great word. You know, it's not Bollywood. Real life is not Bollywood where a cop is a goon or has a goon-like conduct, and that's great. That's really what happens in Uttar Pradesh. Extremely corrupt system. And the more I live here, the more I get the taste of real problems and the most pressing, challenging problems that may be true for almost any developing nation. So in Uttar Pradesh, India, I get the taste of real discomfort, and that keeps me going because you know, I do not have the temperament to give up. If I like to notice real problems, because when I notice real problems, I like to do something about it. I like to think about it, to say the least, and I like to think about it endlessly till I have been able to craft some solutions towards it. So you know, it's because of being, it's for Uttar Pradesh that I have been able to think about something very important, and I think nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about my education model either, anywhere in the world. They are not expressing the model of education as simply as I have been expressing it, and for which was the fundamental reason for why we've built Chattodo. The fundamental reason for that app is to bring the world into an environment of education where the lessons out of communication and collaboration between two people chasing a common goal are acknowledged, because there are lessons learned in that process. So they are quantified into education degrees. So people can be free to communicate and collaborate upon anything they will. And as far as their education degrees are concerned, they get the degrees by virtue of our measure of what is the education they have earned in the process, by the measure by virtue of our artificial intelligence. But there's something as important as this that everyone is missing out on bringing a change around, and that is transition of the world from representative democracy to direct democracy. And internet can facilitate that kind of change. And if it can happen in India, then it can happen anywhere in the world. So while facing constant punches from the pathetic systems that govern India, if all of this can be looked at from a solution-oriented mindset, then it's worth living in India. it's worth solving that problem while being in India, for Indians, by an Indian, because somewhere that attribute of doing innovation from the most unlikely place adds a certain magic to that innovation, you know. It invariably simplifies the innovation. By the time the solution is crafted, it's simple and it becomes massy. I feel that my being in India is causing that. So I'm able to think about problems that nobody is even thinking about or speaking about, because I am in this hostile environment called Uttar Pradesh, made up of very narrow-minded people who appreciate gimmicks over and above policies that do genuine good, you know, or ideas that do genuine good. They're all after gimmicks now. And because of this hostile environment, I get a chance to keep myself absolutely isolated. Like there is nowhere to go but within myself. If I move into another city, it becomes an outward exploration, you know, which I don't find as valuable as an inward exploration. So being in this hostile environment and trying to do something great for my country while being here, is going to enable us to reap the kind of fruits in the future that may have the potential to attribute a certain substantial change in our country's governance towards education and innovation. Because to say the least, when our country and its people realize that from the most unlikely state, amidst oddest of situations, there was a boy who ended up building our country's first meaningful social network, which was not a rip-off of the other social networks. It was fundamentally new in its approach. And I find that aspect of our pitch very important to who I am, because my intrinsic motivation to being in India in the first place was this, that I always felt inspired by the past of our country that has produced people like Ramanujan, Ramana, even Ram. Of course, the sad politics that happens in the name of Ram, which is hostile, is diminishing the value of that being called Ram. We haven't even come to explore the beings called Ramana and Ramanujan, you know. This country has the potential, has always had the potential, but the people who carried that potential by virtue of their birth on this land just took it along with them to another country, because this country ended up being hostile towards men and women and everything in the middle. So this country was hostile towards such beings of radically original ideas, right from their family to their schools, colleges, employers, and not because they wanted to be hostile, but because they had that lack of exposure that media never took the responsibility of delivering to them. Media was filled with, in our country, a lot of people, I don't know if they watch as much television everywhere, but here, I know from our households, most of the life is wasted in front of television. And what television teaches them is absolutely disgusting. It's all, even laws here are made to divide people, like gender, the way gender biased laws work here, almost are suicidal. What they do makes many people commit suicide. They divide men and women. The politics divides Hindus and Muslims. So the bright people of our country find no place to go to within our country, so they move out of our country, and it's unfortunate. And I feel if I do the same, then we will never be able to bring innovation back to India, because the kind of politics that happens here is just only trying to glorify our past out of arrogance, not out of any genuinity. They're not encouraging courage and brilliance of curiosity that leads to science. Our politics is not leading our youth towards that kind of thinking. And I bet politics is not the only way to inspire the youth of our country. And I think a lot of fixing is needed in this country. So if I move to Canada, I'm afraid my desire to bring about the change in my country first, because of my values that tell me that if you can't fix your own home and your neighborhood, then if you can't fix that first and you talk about changing the world, there's something off balance in your heart. And that's why a lot of innovations that look good at first fail eventually, because they're not coming from the place of heart, So my heart is right here in India, not because of any, limited mindset about nationalism. In fact, if anything, I'm a globalist. It kind of means that I like to encourage merit wherever that merit is coming from, because I am pro-humans, whether they are from my country or they are from any other country. I would like to encourage pure merit, because I know it takes genuine toiling, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices that create something that other people appreciate, without it getting forced down their throat, and when you start de-rewarding that kind of environment across the world, you're doing nothing but dividing people, and discouraging genuine creators just because they happen to be from another country. I don't vouch for that kind of a world. So I'm not saying what I'm saying out of narrow-minded nationalist ideology. I am saying it from an ideology which is about not ignoring your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, and the world. And in the country, you look at what's really happening. I mean, the kind of regressive politics that happens, or governance that happens in our country, it becomes even more. It becomes very important for me to remain in India, and keep trying to inspire Indians to do genuine innovation by virtue of the work I'm doing amidst the odds that I face, you know. Um, it brings the kind of resilience, perseverance, patience, and glow on my soul, the kind I don't think any other environment could do for an optimistic being like me. Because it's like, you know, I want to give you an example of Nelson Mandela. 27 years in jail, and turned out to be the president of South Africa. That's incredible. That's huge. What an odd environment, and what a great result. And Nelson Mandela is not just known as the president of South Africa, he is among the greatest human beings I've ever known. You know, he's a man hated by none, admired by everyone. That's huge. In today's world, you don't find people who are hated by none, no matter how bright and right they were. So, Nirbhay, I'd like to remain in this land of Rama, Ramanujan, and Ramana. And I'd like to continue to do what I'm doing right from here with you in America, because our goal is not just to fix the facade in the name of TikToks and social networks like Facebook that we have been delivered. You know, they're not really making. I mean, they're solving some problem, not denying that at all, but they're also wasting a lot of important time, because they were designed to deliver just entertainment. And you see what television was designed to deliver: entertainment. And see what television is doing, you know. So actually, this the innovation of these products is not really the problem. The problem is the human beings and the mindset they have. Because no matter what you do, you give them television, they fill it with crap. You give them Facebook, they fill it with crap. You give them Twitter, they fill it with crap. So what do? You give them a design where it's not possible for them to fill it up with crap. That's really what we want to do with Chattodo. And we want to do it right here from India, in India, because if we don't do it from India, in India, I don't see anybody. I mean, since the beginning of the modern India, you know, you'd name one company that has been able to build a product of importance for the socially connected world. We don't build products like Google, we don't build Facebook, we don't build Twitter, we don't build Apple, Samsung, Microsoft. We don't produce anything originally. We do Flipkart after there's already Amazon. We do Ola after there's already Uber. We are copycats. So like a lot of other people, you know, I mean, like those men on the border, the spirit they have towards their country. I have that spirit, but it's not narrow-minded as to only protect my country. Because when we build something on the internet, it's not really just about a country. You build it from a country would mean, if you build something important from a country, would mean great for that country. And what we want to do from our country, for our country, the good we want to do in our country, is that the result of that good would be felt by the whole world. So I say it's a good time to. Now I'm coming to the product, and I'm telling you what we require on our product. Um, the time for it is now. We need to give the world a simpler version of Chattodo. But first, India. We want to tell India that we are not building a rip-off of WhatsApp, because it's not a rip-off of WhatsApp. It's almost like WhatsApp on steroids. And we are not building, we want to be very clear, we don't want to do marketing gimmicks like, okay, boycott TikTok now, then the time comes, boycott WhatsApp. No, man. I mean, please encourage genuine innovation, encourage merit. Don't close doors on others. I mean, the innovators are not responsible for the shady politics. They are not the people who want to divide the world. They want to bring the world closer, in fact. And not every innovator is going to be mindful of what that their innovation would end up doing at its fullest. For example, I don't think TikTok is doing anything great in the world. A world can be as good a place without TikTok in it. But nevertheless, it doesn't mean if people have liked, you are ultimately here to serve human beings. The life on earth. If the life on earth is aided by something, it should be done, and it should be encouraged. And the people who are best suited to deliver it be encouraged by the whole world. So right now, although it seems like a great time for a product in India, but we don't want to use that marketing gimmick that, okay, use us because we are Indian, we are made in India. That is, I think, very stupid. I mean, that is really to say that we actually do not have any genuine merit in us, but use us because we are made in India. We want to instead say, please use us. We, of course, as a matter of chance, we are made in India. We are made in India because our founder decided to remain in India and prove to Indians that no matter how hostile this country is towards genuine innovation, remain here. Or no matter how hostile the environment is towards any kind of scientific inquiry or objectivity, remain here and try to do what you want to do against all odds. And it will only make you stronger, and the result would be unfathomable. Not only would the result of what you have built be important for the world, but how you have built it would be important for your country, And your country, because how do you ignore your neighborhood? The place you saw from the moment you took birth, and you decided very early on that you have to fix it because you could see the bullshit that others couldn't, So you start from home. You start telling your parents not to watch the kind of news channels that you're watching, not to, encourage the communalism that's happening in the country by clapping on silly, victories like boycott TikTok, build a Ram Mandir, If your policies are hurting a large number of people, but if they are, satiating a large number of people in turn, okay, fine. Don't celebrate it to show others down. That's the kind of country we are becoming, So you want to start from your home, and you want to tell them, don't create that world for our children, where there is so much of division, even amongst men and women, look at what feminism is doing, um, feminism was started for all the right reasons, but vested interests, groupism, all that led to, I think it's near failure, because it's really dividing men and women. It's almost like it's done for general men bashing, for some ills that were done to women in the past. uh, Now feminism is doing so all that. And in India especially, because what happens in India is that there's lack of objectivity, so they immediately, for their vote bank, they immediately start designing laws to appease a certain segment, or to win their votes. So then they lose absolutely all objectivity, and when they lose it in law, it becomes a very serious problem. I think Indian judicial system is one of the most important problems to be tackled in India, not the problems that our government is indicating. It's over and above all other kinds of problem, because if in a country there's no justice, if there's no genuine justice, then your most important, your most fundamental pillar is broken. You build anything on top of it, it's going to topple. So there are many reasons I want to remain in India, and all the culmination of all that I am learning while being in India will be fitted into our app. So I'm trying to not transition our product to the expressions that I've made in this video. Right now, I'll come to the product now. I'd say that let's fix all the bugs that it has and launch it right here in India, while telling people that use us if you think we have a global merit, not just because we are made in India, And maybe with that we send a message across. That's an important message, that please raise the bar of innovation. Don't make the mistakes that China has made by keeping itself so closed within its boundaries. Open up to the world and tell them that, okay, man, we'll fight merit with merit. We won't fight by closing doors upon you. We welcome your merit, and in fact we'll strive to create something more meritorious. Maybe that's the kind of message our product will send in a country like India, and it may have a ripple effect across the world. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So allow me to remain here and pay keen attention to the next set of instructions that I have for you and our team in Lucknow, which is not looked at the problem we are looking to solve as deeply as you and I have looked at it, And to be fair to them, they haven't spent as much time brainstorming my vision as you and I have. Even before your code was written upon my vision. So they need to take initiative to spend that kind of time to watch my vision with a very keen eye. And only then can they understand the significance of it, to build upon it in spite of the immediate money it brings to them. If the goal is really to align the two of you, the team in Lucknow, not anyone else apart from the team that has the potential to code further upon what we have already coded. So you can focus on a certain kind of bots. Those chat bots will help us in transitioning our country from a representative democracy to direct democracy. It would help in bringing reforms in our judicial system, in the way police functions. Those kind of chatbots I have on my mind, even accounting. It will add more sincerity into our product for human beings that are on that product, because our product is no more going to be about cats and dogs videos like every other social network ends up becoming. I don't think that I find no one in the world who has such sincere intent to build something like this. So I want you and I to focus on the intelligent bots that we want to build, and I want the team in Lucknow that can code further to fix the bugs and make the product ready in the next 1 month. And what I require you to do is to initiate conversations with the team in Lucknow and really have a strong bond. I mean, consider them partners in Chattodo. Have a strong bond with them. If there's one thing you have to do, and that would be build a bond with our team in Lucknow. For some reasons, it hasn't worked out very well between us so far. I mean, the relationship is sound. There's no problem there, but it's not been very effective. So maybe there may be some fault in my leadership or my circumstances. Maybe when you start participating, because it's a tech team, man, you're better suited to having a dialogue with the tech team. At the end of the day, my expectation from them is technology. Building further upon our tech. So you can be a better handler of that team. And wherever a physical intervention is required, I'm right here in Lucknow to intervene. Physically, I'll go to their office and intervene wherever required. If you can bond, if you and that team can bond well, then we can give, to start with, we can give Lucknow a story of immense inspiration. That's all for now from my side. Only the last, I think, 5 minutes, as far as our product is concerned, and your role, which is focused at tech, is concerned. Only last 5 minutes are of consequence. But everything prior to that I have said is to tell you that my heart is here in India, and I owe something to this country which I cannot express in words. My exposure into yoga, my samadhi, all of that didn't happen by something of my doing. My samadhi happened, my understanding of my samadhi happened because of the Himalayas in India. I lived in the Himalayas, around those mountains, for 5 years, which enabled me in turn to understand myself better. From an Indian middle class perspective, then from a body perspective, then from the perspective of ether. I think I can deliver that to a country that already is in tune with that way of life. They've just lost themselves in the noise of the current social networks, in fact, it's because of India that I've been able to think about a device which is going to be the most productive device ever built for human beings. I'll talk about that later. That's not a part of this discussion. Of course, the software that backs that device is the software we are building as Chattodo. So that conversation is important. Not for now. For now, this is hear it as a story. We haven't spoken in a long time. I haven't expressed myself to you in a long time. Consider this as that expression, and only the few minutes from actionables, from the point of view of actionables, only the last few minutes where I'm asking you to team up well with the team in Lucknow. And I'm asking you to do that only because I think that will ease you out. I mean, right now, the burden of whatever trimming we need to do on our product, or whatever alterations we need to do on our app, they need to be done. Who else if not you? But with the support of the team in Lucknow, you'll have a team. On top of that team, you can have your team in America, but at least you don't have to wait to find that team. You can already utilize the team that is in Lucknow, and you can to basically take the responsibility of this team. I mean, this team and the relationship that we have, you are responsible for developing that relationship, and not me, That will really give me the freedom to plan what I'm planning, because the goal is really to give the kind of social network the world has not even dreamt of, but is possible. It can change the world for the better. What I'm saying is, change the world is not a cliche. The intention of every man who is innovating and building products of unfathomable magnitude has always been that. It was never a cliche for that man. However, it turns out that it's just the first 20 years, first 25 years of social web, So it was difficult to imagine how hostile the people of the world are towards each other. How much negativity there is among people of the world towards each other. Now we know it. Now we can design something that particularly pays attention to solving that problem by virtue of its design. Okay, man. Have a good day. If you think this works, then I'll speak into the video to address you and the team we build from here on. Have a good day.